Hey ComSouth Channel 100 viewers, I'm here with Mr. Joe Musselwhite in Warner Robins, Georgia. Mr. Musselwhite is a candidate for the mayor of Warner Robins, and he has agreed to talk with us a little bit today. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all for talking.
My pleasure. Well, could you start out telling us a little bit about yourself, your background, anything personal you may like to share for people who may not know you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Joe Musselwhite. I was born in Houston County in 1953. I have a wife of 41 years, 3 sons, 4 grandchildren. We all were educated locally. My parents were educators. My dad was the first football coach on the staff of the first football team Warner Robins High ever had. He later went into administration. He was a teacher and then he became an administrator. And the last job he had, he was principal of Warner Robins Middle School. My mother was the first employee Macon College ever hired. She actually worked with them when I was a little boy when they met in one wing of Warner Robins High School. And it was a very small participation, but she was involved way back then, and then worked in Macon and later become the director of the Warner Robins campus when it was opened here. I have 3 sisters. 2 of those are educators. The other one works in the board office in Macon. So my whole family is educators. I knew when I was young that I was a worker. I wanted to be outside, moving, active. So I didn't go in the education field. Later in life, I realized I might have missed a good opportunity because I do love teaching people and serving people. But I chose a different route. I worked hard. Did things the hard way in a lot of cases, but it's all worked out well. And in 1992, I went to work with the city of Warner Robins, and I found my forte. I love government. I love serving the people, and that's what's led me to this interview today. I'm back in the race to try to become the mayor to serve the people of our city.
Okay, thank you. You're running for Warner Robins mayor. Could you tell us why you're running specifically?
I follow government closely. I'm retired from the city. I worked there for 21 years. I was the director of public works. I have a large knowledge of the city, the function of it, the inner workings of it, and also the city's finances. I have followed it since 2013 when I retired. I watched what was going on. I've witnessed some pretty good things happening, and then it would go the other way, and I followed it, and all of a sudden it just didn't become very productive. And people started calling me and telling me about things that were going on in the inner workings of the city. So I started looking into it closer and found out that the city of Warner Robins is in trouble. Our crime rate's the highest it's ever been. They spent $21 million out of reserve funds and enterprise funds. It's just as simple as we can't afford another $21 million to train a mayor. The mayor's job is not on-the-job training. It's very serious. We need to take it serious and get our city back on track.
Thank you. How about your education? What education and knowledge do you think you have for this position?
Well, the knowledge for this position in education is, I started in 1992 attending state schools that were relevant to city government. I was trained in code enforcement was the first thing, and then it led into performance evaluations, asphalt, pavement. The end product is I have like 3,100 hours of training through the state of Georgia and the Carl Vinson Institute of the University of Georgia, which is certificates of training, not degrees, but it's all relevant to managing city government. So I was the director of public works for 19 years. I had a budget, multi-million-dollar budget every year. We were never over a budget. We were usually under. I had 90 employees, and we had when I first became the public works director, we had a real active mayor. This is back in the 90s. This is when the city went from 20,000 people to 70,000, and we expanded all the way to interstate and the other side of Highway 96. This is when Warner Robins really boomed, if you will. And I worked with a real progressive mayor, real active, hard worker that wanted to get things done. So I got involved in a lot of parts of government that if it had just been normal standard conditions in city government, I may have never had the chance to learn. But I was fortunate that he involved me in all aspects of government. And the end result is I was able to learn a lot of things, and I'm proud and honored to know that today.
Excellent. Let's move on to your professional experience. What are your qualifications, and have you held elected office before, or is this your first venture into public office? I know you may have covered some of this already, but as we promised, our question.
This is not my first venture into politics. I run in 2013 and lost in a runoff. I have never held political office. That's the only time I've ever run for office, and I was unsuccessful and thought it was the end of my political career. And then, as I said earlier, things haven't worked out the way I think and other citizens think they should be in Warner Robins, and I'm willing to take my experience and time and try to give a little back to the people and make our city a better place.
Wonderful. Are you involved in any community activities or organizations?
I am. I'm an active member in the Optimist Club. In the past, I've been in numerous civic organizations. I was on the State Public Works Board for probably a dozen years or more. I was president of the local chapter, Middle Georgia chapter of American Public Works Association. I've been active in the Little League. I try to do whatever I can. I've always enjoyed being a public servant, and I like being involved in civic organizations. And I finally got old enough and able to be more active, because when you're working and raising a family, and like I said, I have 3 sons, and they were in Little League, and they were in high school and playing ball and playing tennis and everything else. It's hard to do everything, but I'm very thankful that I have gotten to an age where I can participate and give back. Community's been good to me, and I want to give back all I can.
That's wonderful. So what is your political philosophy? Not a campaign slogan, but your core political beliefs.
I believe a good government is a government that is close to the people. Government is of the people, for the people, by the people, and we are the people. As a mayor, I want the people involved in their government. I said in a recent forum that I was speaking at that I would not even have meetings when the people that may want to attend them were sitting in traffic on their way home from work or on their way home from daycare to pick up their children. I want the city to be user friendly. This is the people's city, and I want them involved in their government, and I will do everything I can to involve them, because the knowledge here, the knowledge of the people in this community is so great we could never imagine it, but we're not tapping into it. If we all put our minds to work together, you'll be surprised how quickly this community can become a showplace.
Who inspired you politically?
When I was 18, I was encouraged to register to vote, start voting, and I have voted pretty regularly ever since. The first person I ever voted for was Sheriff Talton. He's been the sheriff since 1972. He got elected in November of 72. I think it's 48 years. I could be wrong on that. It's about the time I got out of high school, so I should remember. But he has inspired me. That I've heard him speak numerous times over the years, especially after I've become a city department head. I attended functions he was speaking at. He spoke on trusting your people, giving them the tools and the opportunity to do what they need to do, supporting them, and letting them do their job. I think that's a pretty good philosophy because he's been real successful, and his people do a good job, and that's an inspiration to me. Also, another local man named Sonny Watson served in Atlanta for 25 years or more, and I know him personally. He's a friend of mine. He's a mentor of mine, and I know that he wasn't in politics just to serve himself. He was in it to serve other people, and even though he's not elected today, he still helps other people. And I just think we all need to have a servant heart. And if you're in politics, which is part of the process to become a mayor, you need to honestly and truthfully be in it to do something for other people. If you're in it for the salary, if you're in it for any self-gain, you probably shouldn't be in it.
Well, thank you for that. So next, what do you see as the most critical issue facing Warner Robins?
Well, the most critical issue facing Warner Robins is, in my opinion, is public safety. But it's really threefold. I mean, without a lawful community, you don't have a community. With that said, without proper finances and management of the money, you're in trouble also. So we have opportunity here to improve our public safety, to get more police and better serve the community. We have a good department. We have good people. We just don't have enough of them. We've got to make some changes there. We've got to get some boots on the ground. We've got to get our finances under control. We've paid over $1 million in consulting fees in the last 4 years, paying $11,000 a month for an economic development consultant as we speak. And it's my opinion, and I'm pretty sure it's right on target, until you get a safe community and clean the community up and get rid of the blight and get something that's appealing to people and a safe place for them to come, economic development is not going to happen.
So what will be your emphasis as mayor should you win, and how can you make a difference? Essentially, what kind of change do you think you can bring about if you are elected as mayor?
Well, I have the experience with the city and knowledge of the city that there won't be a learning process. I can start making a difference the very first day. Okay. We have numerous departments in the city, and every department director has responsibilities. You can work on recreation, you can work on traffic flow, the finances, the public safety problem. You can do a lot of things at one time as the mayor if you engage the people that need to get this done. Of course, we have city council. City council needs to be involved in their government. They need to work with the mayor and strive to make things better for all the community. They're elected by the people also. I certainly want them involved, but we've got to all work together. That's a must. But I believe we can improve traffic flow. We can talk about plans for 4 or 5 intersections I know of sitting here right now that could be enhanced for better traffic flow. We can clean Warner Robins up. We can start a process through code enforcement to contact owners of dilapidated buildings. I mean, I honestly believe I can stir more up in 24 hours than this community's seen in quite a while.
So what makes you the best choice for mayor?
Well, Mr. Shaheen was the mayor for 4 years, got elected in 2009. Then he went from being the mayor to the council. When he was the mayor, him and the council didn't get along, so now he's on the council and him and the mayor don't get along. But then in 2013, Randy Toms got elected. They're not working in unity down there now. They're divided as we speak. I've never seen the city this divided. As I said earlier, the finances are upside down. The crime rate's above the safe zone. Recreation hasn't improved like it was promised to be. In 2013 at election time, we got over $6 million in the bank, and they've done very little improvements in the last 4 years. I just think that by engaging everyone involved and getting all the employees that are capable, able, and willing to do their job on the same page, that we can make a lot of difference. 550 people can make a difference if they all head in the right direction. And the city of Warner Robins has at least that many employees, and when you get people pulling for the same thing and you got a number of 550, you can make a difference pretty quick.
So Robins Air Force Base is, of course, very important to the local community and to the local economy. What would you do to support Robins Air Force Base?
I would do everything I can to support Robins Air Force Base, and always have. I was at the State of the Base meeting at the Museum of Aviation in April of this year. Very good presentation. I left there feeling refreshed about the base. Every word spoken by the leaders of the base was positive. Production was being met on time, and in the past that had been a problem. So I felt really good about what I heard. At the end of the presentation, there was a question and answer from the floor. So the question was asked from the audience, probably 200 people there, said, what can the city do to help the base? And the base commander's answer was, get the crime rate under control. So to answer your question, what I will do is if the base commander tells me to get the crime rate under control, and he already has, he's told this community to get the crime rate under control. He said it in that meeting that day. What I would do to support the base is anything the base officials, base commander, otherwise ask of me as a mayor to do to help them, they can consider it done. I will work at it diligently until it's completed, and not just the crime, but anything else they need.
One matter that is central to our collective future is education. So how will you support the local school system if you're elected mayor?
Well, I'll do anything I can for the school system. My parents were educators. My dad was on the first coaching staff at Warner Robins High School back in the early 50s. He made his whole career there. He retired from there. I was fed by the Houston County Board of Education. We have a great education system in Houston County, thank goodness. I have 2 sisters that work in that area right now. They're teachers. I have a son that is teaching now. Of course, my oldest son teaches on Robins Air Force Base. He's not in the school system, but the Musselwhites are teachers. I will support education any way and every way I possibly can. In years past, when I was public works director, we rebuilt the baseball field at Houston County High, Northside High, and Warner Robins High. We worked on practice fields. We hauled sand. We attended and sold barbecue tickets. I always have and always will do anything I can for our education system, and I'm very proud of the system we have here.
Thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to see being done differently on City Council?
Well, I'd like to see everybody work together. I'd like to see things be done for the betterment of the people. I'd like to see the people of the city more involved in some of the decisions that are made. It's not fair to the people to wake up and read the newspaper, watch the 11 o'clock news, and figure out that something just happened that affects them that they didn't even know about. I mean, I know that the people elect officials to handle their business, but it's still the people's business. We need to work together. We need to unify. They need to show more respect for the mayor and for the mayor's position and do things for the betterment of the people of Warner Robins.
Do you have any significant financial supporters, and if so, who?
All my supporters are significant. I had a little lady in a wheelchair give me a check for $50, asked me to hold it till the end of the month before I cash it, make sure the funds were in the bank. That is significant to me. All my supporters are important. All the dollars I've raised are important. I don't have any contributors that have given me large sums of money. You know, the max you can receive is $2,500 from one individual. So I don't look at any of them any more important than others. I think they're all important. And the ones that mean the most to me are the ones that don't have the money to give, that give it anyway. They're very sincere about you being their mayor. I made a statement earlier, I think it was the day of my announcement, that everyone would have my ear, but no one would own it. And, you know, no one's going to own me. I'm for good government. I want to do the best for all the people of the community. You know, I'll help the elite, and I'll help the people that can't hardly help themselves. I want to serve the people and try to make life better for everybody I possibly can.
What kind of tax laws do you hope to incorporate during your tenure?
Well, I want to uphold the laws we have now. You know, we have this SPLOST in our city, our county. The county gives the city funds, it's SPLOST funds, special purpose funds. It's a tax. It's a special purpose tax. You can't legally transfer the money from a project that you don't want to do or you don't think needs to be done because it was on the referendum as a project, and whether you and I or somebody else doesn't like it, as is tough, the majority of the people in the county voted on it, so it become a project and needs to be done. I will see that the SPLOST laws are followed. There's cases in the last couple of years where they haven't been followed, and it's simply a violation of the state SPLOST tax law. So I will follow the SPLOST laws. I understand the millage rate. I won't obligate any of the city's taxes for projects that we can't afford. I'll do everything I can to keep the tax millage rate as low as possible. Matter of fact, I made a statement that I'm not going to raise taxes, and I'm not. But what we need to do is, that's part of the attractor for economic development. That's what keeps senior citizens in this community to retire. They retire here because they can't afford the taxes. You can't start imposing taxes on senior citizens that can't afford them. A lot of people on a fixed income. You just need to be more responsible with the people's money, and with the amount of SPLOST money we have coming in, which in the last 3 SPLOST is $58 million is the city's share, we can make numerous improvements and operate without having to raise local taxes.
Next, let's talk about what changes you're hoping to see in Warner Robins in the next few years.
In the next few years, I hope to see a safe Warner Robins. I hope to see policemen in neighborhoods knocking on doors, proactive like they used to be. I hope to see more senior citizens retiring here. As people retire off the base, there's a lot of people work on the base that aren't from here. Good news is they move here from other states to work on Robins Air Force Base. You know, thankfully we've been blessed over the years. They liked us and they stayed here. And we want more to stay here. I want to see economic development in our city and in our county. We've got to have it. It's vital. We can't just rely on Robins Air Force Base. We need We need other industry here, other jobs, and we need good paying jobs. I want to see Warner Robins cleaned up. I want to see it looking so good. If a potential brat was to come in unexpectedly, all they could say is people in Warner Robins are doing a good job. You know, what a nice community. I want it clean. I want the cigarette butts out of meetings. I want the grass cut. I want the junk off the side of the road. I want the gateways to the city cleaned up, which is Watson Boulevard and North Davis Drive. You know, first impressions are everything. We've got to clean our city up, keep it clean. We got to have safe roads. We got to have safe intersections. But the main thing we got to do, as we said earlier, we got to get law and order under control. We got to support our police, get more of them, get rid of a lot of blight in Warner Robins, and we'll have a good community here.
All right, so now I'd like to step out of the picture for a minute. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to speak directly to the voters. You get 2 minutes to say whatever you want right to the voters and tell them why they should vote for you.
I'm running for mayor. There's nothing about this process is personal with me. I don't need a job. I don't really need a paycheck. I do want to serve the community that I care about, that I grew up in and I love. I want to see it prosper. I want to see it do better. I want to see growth here. There's so many things that we need to do in this community. We got traffic problems. In the last 4 years, no one's mentioned anything about doing any work to make traffic flow better. I know of 4 or 5 intersections right now that we've already got the we've already got the right of way or the easement, that all it needs is a simple drawing, a plan of attack, and make the intersection a safer place and where traffic can flow better. I want to see our recreation department prosper. I want to do everything I can, especially for the people on the north side of town. There's a big need over there for a gymnasium. The swimming pool at Sewell Circle hadn't been opened in the last 2 years. There's a world of children over there with nothing to do. I want to help them, as I want to help all the children in Warner Robins. But in this particular area of town, there's just simply nothing for the children to do. We will branch out. I want to build recreational facilities all over Warner Robins. We don't have a park west of Russell Parkway. I'm going to build green space out on the Georgia Power line at Moody Road and Fagan Mill. I'll build a green space down to Houston Lake Road. We'll put a footbridge like we did at Corder Road going over Sandy Run Creek. It'll be beautiful. It'll be very nice, and I think everyone will enjoy it. We'll do it very quickly.
Well, thank you for talking directly to our viewers about why you should be here. One more question and then we'll wrap things up. If people would like more information about you or your campaign, how do they find out more?
Well, my campaign office is at 912B on Russell Parkway, just past the post office. It's got Musselwhite for Mayor signs out by the road and in the windows. I'd love for you to stop by and see us. I'm also on Facebook at Joe Musselwhite for Mayor. We're fixing to do a video series, and we have a pretty good bit of information on there now. Platform, which, you know, what I stand for now is public. Everybody should know why I'm running for mayor. So those are the areas. My phone number is 478-808-3103. Feel free to call me anytime if you have questions. If I don't answer, leave a message. I will happily call you back.
Well, thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we go?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that we need to get our city back under control. We got to get our crime rate under control. We got to get our finances under control. We've got to make progress in recreation. We've got to get more sidewalks in town. We've got to get more green space. We need more parks. We got a very, very good community, and I love it very much. I sincerely care about the people of the community, is why I'm running for mayor. Early voting starts October 16th from 8 to 5 at City Hall. Election day is November 7th, citywide. And I would really like to ask all of you for your support and your vote. And I promise you, if I'm elected mayor, you'll be proud you elected Joe Musselwhite.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, and we appreciate you talking with us.
Thank you.